Fred Gaylor is one of Western Region's publicity team. During weekends, Fred takes to the sky as a keen member of the British Parachute Club, and he's devised a way of combining business with pleasure. Each weekend, he's busy advertising British Rail's motor rail service by skydiving this slogan through several thousand feet of free air, somewhere over southern England. Motor rail, taking your car by train, is now an established way of leapfrogging traffic jams, so the services are being extended all the time. This lot is going north to Scotland, some of it, perhaps, to this brand new British Transport Centre at St Andrews, the Old Course Hotel. It's built right beside the 17th hole of the world-famous Royal and Ancient Golf Club, hence the protective netting outside the front entrance. The hotel, which is aimed mostly at the international golfing set, offers a high standard of comfort and service. A 2-day stay here is part of the British Golfing Vacation Package, which is being sold on Fifth Avenue and other overseas offices of British Rail. Enthusiasts are drawn to St Andrews by the folklore and history of golf itself, some of the flavour of which has been preserved in the design of this modern hotel. Nowadays, of course, travellers expect certain standards of comfort, speed and attention, whether they're travelling by train, playing golf or taking a short sea trip. British Rail's new ship, the Antrim Princess, operating on the Stranraer to Larne route between Scotland and Ireland, certainly lives up to that expectation. Like her sister ship, the Caledonian Princess, Antrim Princess has been fitted out with berths, so that passengers on the early morning and late night crossings can spend the night on board if they wish. With both bow and stern loading and a turnaround time of just over an hour, she can carry 170 cars and 1,200 passengers from Scotland to Ireland in 2¼ hours. Commercial users, especially road hauliers, prefer using this short sea route as a bridge between Scotland and Ireland because of the adequate headroom, minimal manoeuvring and frequent services. When it comes to bulk freight transportation, British Rail is a pioneer in the field, with its constantly expanding Freightliner service. A massive new Goliath crane on Parkeston Quay, Harwich, lifts 30 and 40-foot containers in and out of the holds of 2 specially designed cellular container ships. A new twice-daily freight service to Zeebrugge and Rotterdam, fully integrated with rail and road transport in the United Kingdom and in Europe. In other words, a complete door-to-door freight service at one through price. The new ship, Freightliner II, carries 3,000 tons in 148 containers, with a turnaround time at each end of 5 hours. Bulk rail transportation of a more specialised sort is taking place between a factory in Renfrewshire and assembly lines near Coventry. More cars travelling by train, But these are still in the making, still on the conveyor belt. Bulk movement of this kind is an area in which the railways can be highly competitive in price and extremely efficient in service. A new contract with British Rail will enable 176 car bodies at a time to be sent in quarter-mile long trains on the long journey down to Coventry. At modern collieries, pitmen like Charlie Dunn can load a train with more than 800 tons of coal in 25 minutes, a procedure which used to take 5 hours. As the train is moving along underneath, at low speed all the time, Charlie's job requires concentration and split-second timing. A slip would deposit the coal on the track instead of in the wagons. After being loaded, each wagon automatically triggers off a system which records its weight. The merry-go-round system enables coal trains to circulate without stopping from pit heads to nearby power stations, where similar machinery automatically unloads the coal. At Beckenham, in a recently opened southern region building, responsibility is taken for the efficient running of over 2,000 trains a day in the new control room.
Beckenham Control here. The 826 Ramsgate Charing Cross is held up at Chislehurst Junction. Current's off because of a metal object thrown onto the conductor rail by children. It's now 15 minutes late and the 901 Sevenoaks Charing Cross is held up behind it. I'm arranging special empties, leaving Grove Park.
Although every train running throughout the 24-hour period is monitored at Beckenham, the control room needs to act only in the case of late starting or late running. A whole new set has to be organised to go to Ramsgate. That means another train, another driver, and another guard. At peak periods, this control room is ensuring that 70,000 commuters an hour pour in and out of central London. One of the most densely used networks of railway track in the world is controlled by the office at Beckenham. On the eastern region, another moving train is offloading concrete cable troughing to the side of the track. Faster schedules and more trains have meant less time to service the track, so everything has to be done on the trot. This particular method has also reduced breakages of the concrete sections to practically nil. It's an efficient way of doing one of those tedious jobs that look simple but can take a long time. Lining and tamping, that's to say carrying out all the regular adjustments to railway track to ensure that it stays kink-free and level and that it curves and banks smoothly, can now be done by one single machine which sends out tentacles in front and behind. As the machine moves along at a walking pace, any irregularities in the track are sensed by a photoelectric link between the advanced turret and the control cab. This link automatically brings into action, where necessary, the lining and tamping machinery. All the extra payload which British Rail is now carrying in the way of Freightliners and special containers has meant the scientific testing of structures, sometimes with strengthening jobs to follow, such as at the historic Royal Albert Bridge, crossing the River Tamar between Cornwall and Devon. In each of the main two spans, diagonal bracing ties are being added between the chains and the girders supporting the track. Soon Brunel's famous engineering landmark, now in its second century of railway service, will be carrying new 100-ton freight wagons of China clay up from Cornwall. After high-speed test runs on Western Region lines, there's been a dramatic speed-up of services from London to Plymouth, Exeter and Penzance. Twin diesel engines coupled with modern track and signalling has led to speeds high enough to average more than a mile a minute for the journey, all of which brings the West Country nearer to Paddington. The speed-up is not confined to the Western region. Today, some people say, Scotland is just a suburb of Euston. A rather special train pulls into platform 6. Her Majesty the Queen arrives from Scotland to open the brand new station, which is the most complicated feat of modernisation that British Rail has attempted for years.
My family and I have used this station many times. Indeed, my great-great-grandmother made the first royal journey from Scotland to Euston by train 120 years ago. She spent one night at Perth and the next one at Crewe, so the whole journey took 3 days. This opening marks the completion of the most important railway modernisation project of this century. The station itself is, even to the casual eye, an impressive example of modern design and layout.
Euston is a completely new concept in station design for this country. It is simple as well as spacious, and it works. The platforms are spanned by the new parcels deck. Euston uses its 3 dimensions. Different functions have been separated spatially, so they do not interfere with one another.
Seven. 4.
While mail bags swing through the air, parcels run along the ground. Once sorted, everything descends swiftly to the platforms immediately below, without having to thread a way through an exasperated flow of passengers. Her Majesty's visit marks the climax of the region's modernisation scheme, which started 10 years ago with the electrification of the line from Crewe to Manchester. The modern design of both the station and the railway that it serves reflects a trend that is becoming increasingly evident throughout Britain, as the long-debated question, do railways have a future, is answered with a triumphant, yes, and it's here today.